Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome. And we've made it. It's Friday. It's the end of the week. Everybody's happy. I know I am. And something else to look forward to. We're going to wrap up Leviticus tonight. Now, that's not to say that that's not to say that Leviticus is a bad book. But again, we talked a lot of rules, very dry, and it is what it is. So not a whole lot of narrative, and we haven't had a lot of interaction to discuss with it in the last few days. So it's been kind of tedious. But even with that dryness, we have pulled out some really good discussions. What I've had been able to do with my biblical readings here is share a lot of the um, share a lot of good thoughts that um, come along with this type of with this type of reading. When you're reading what is going on in Leviticus, it really drives home a lot of the things that we need to pay attention to. Not just the food laws, not just the offerings, the stuff that we don't practice anymore, but also the rules and the foundations and the fundamentals that God gave us, rules to live by. And it serves as a marker about how far away we've come in society, that much of that we discuss there that is wholesome is forgotten or cast aside or ignored or looked down as backwards. So, who am I to talk to you about this? My name's Stuart Davis. I'm a nobody. I'm a deacon at a small church just outside of Richmond, Virginia. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a biblical scholar. I haven't been to seminary. I'm not trying to get you to join my congregation, and I'm not trying to get you to donate to any special cause. What I'm doing is offering a platform for Christianity. I don't have any doctrinal ties, and I don't belong to any denomination. What I am is in the Word, trying to figure it out and offer my thoughts and insights and experiences from a lifetime of being a Christian. Now, one of the things I am doing this for is outreach. If you are new, or if you're new to the faith, or if you're looking for meaning and you think that Christianity is the path, I'm here to tell you, welcome to the show. And you're right, it is the path. It is the one true path that Christ has set aside. That no one gets in except through Him. And so we want you to come in and learn more, accept Him into your life. Maybe you're not ready to go to church yet. Um, I know it can be a big step for people. If you find this as a place to kind of look at, get some takes take stock in what's said, and then build up your readiness and your willingness to go to church, I implore you to do so. Church is a great place, and when the community is working the way that God intended, it is a wonderful, unstoppable thing. Now, if you're just looking for listening to different thoughts and feelings, or just want to hear other Christians talk, again, this show is for you. I'm not going to be the only one on here. I do have guests lined up, especially next week, and it's going to be a fun filled week with a lot of different personalities on, and I'm streaming on Rumble tonight too. So I'm going to give this a shot. Hopefully, everything is going on. Let me let me see. Let me see if this is working. All right. First off, we're going to. I'm gonna have to mute things. Trying to set this up because StreamYards only lets me share just a wee bit. So I had to take off my um, Twitter load. Trying to set this up because StreamYards only lets
How
me
is it?
share just a wee bit. So I had to take
This
off
dumb thing.
I told it to mute. um, only lets me share to three upload to three sites at a time. So I took Twitter off. I'm still on Facebook, and I'm still on YouTube. Obviously, is the host site, at least for the time being. If Rumble turns out to be better and just a better spot to stream, and YouTube starts to suck, then we'll go with that. But in the meantime, we'll be streaming on as many platforms as I can. I'm trying to put out cast a wide net, a long banner, get as many viewers as I can. This show is still relatively new. I started doing this back in the late summer, just started put some videos together and started live streaming around November timeframe, I think. And my goal for this year is to really grow this channel, grow the message, and grow the content. Hopefully, the subscribers and the viewers will follow. But we'll see. We'll see. But if you feel like this is for you, please like and subscribe on YouTube, on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Like it on Facebook. And if you're a Rumble user and you stumble across me, if you stumble across me while you're rumbling, let me be corny just for a minute because it's Friday and I'm allowed to do so. Um, by all means, subscribe to the show. Keep tuning in and keep listening because I know that I know that that Leviticus is can be a hard thing to listen to somebody else read, but I promise you, we're pulling nuggets out of good faith and good discussion and fellowship. That said, let's check. So we've got it on Twitter. I've shared it on Twitter. Let's see how that looks. Let's see how that works. And then your guys are gonna have to bear with me. I don't really feel like spending another $25 a month just to get one extra stream. Don't really feel like that right now. Maybe once the if the site picks up, if the stream picks up, and I've got a ton of viewers, I will absolutely make that investment. But right now, I'll just be content with doing what I'm doing right now. Now, with that said, let's check and see if everything is working on Rumble the way it should. How am I doing? See if I can if I can view it. Doesn't look like I'm doing anything on there yet. Hmm. Well, I want to fix this before I start next week. There's a couple of things I want to do, and making sure that Rumble is working is good. I'm going to have a very cheap, hopefully very cute and adorable intro established at that time. Yeah, I do. Ugh. All right, so the Rumble thing isn't working. Great, awesome, thanks. Hey, hey, Mike Pressgrove, thanks for joining. Um, all right, so like I said, Leviticus. Next week, though, let's give the rundown. Eric Rollon will be on. We will be finishing our discussion on the 12 tribes of Israel, what the importance is, how Jacob's deathbed proclamation towards each of his sons really plays out in throughout, not just throughout the Old Testament, but throughout the Bible in general. What he did really sounded to me like he was prophesying about what the personality, what the destiny was for each of those sons' tribes as they left Egypt and as they established a home in Israel, and then Judah, and eventually occupation in Rome as we see the birth of Christ moving forward from there. After that, Tuesday night we're going to have Billy Dyer on. He's a local presence here, just outside of Richmond. He is an excellent representative of apologetics. He is going to be talking about the faith, teaching apologetics to our youth. It's a very important thing. We're going to explain exactly why, and hopefully get some insights from him on the hows. Billy and I have talked before. We are both very interested in collaborating, much like how I do things with Eric. Me and Eric do the bi-weekly Tuesday night things, and Billy and I are going to put together something similar. I am sure he has his own podcast, but we'll talk about that when that time comes. Wednesday we'll be starting with Numbers because we're going to finish with Leviticus tonight. Thursday night, we're going to have Reverend Hans Feeney on, the mastermind behind Lutheran satire. He is hilarious. And he is going to be talking about humor in the Bible, snark in the Bible, and not just the Bible, but in faith and in our lives as Christians. Because one of the things that a lot of people have, and some of the impressions I've gotten, is the Bible seems humorless at times. And I'm not saying that I don't laugh at many of the situations that happen in the Bible. There are times where I think something is funny. However, you don't see laughter really mentioned all that much. Love is mentioned oftentimes, and joy is mentioned as well. But laughter is something that seems like it's distinctly missing. Now, Hans is going to be on here. He makes a living as a almost as a comedian pastor. But I'm very much blessed that he has decided to come on, and we will get some of his insights there. And I really don't know any Lutherans either, so it's going to be interesting. And hopefully, perhaps I can have him on some more to talk about that division of Protestant faith, because that's where the Protestant Reformation started. It's always interesting because and was something that we were talking about this evening. We're all along the around the table with my family. My parents were there, and a friend of the family was there as well. We're talking about how all the different denominations of Christianity, especially the folks closest to that initial split, have all split off themselves. So we've got the Lutheran Church, which is fragmented and become different. There's different factions of the Lutheran faith, and it's the same thing with Episcopalians. The Methodist Church also just split up last year. Or was it 2 years ago now? Might be 2 years ago now. But the Methodists have split up. We have seen this in the Baptist Church. We have seen this in the Presbyterian Church. We've seen this in Church of Christ. We have seen this everywhere. And what is the common thing? You are going to hear me mention it time and time again because I think it is the biggest issue facing us internally within the church, as opposed to our own attitudes and the way that we treat other people. The other very difficult thing that's facing all parts of Christianity, and not just the Protestants, but the Catholics and the Orthodoxy, is modernization. The idea that we can change the truth that is God's word in order to fit a narrative that is um, palatable by what today's media and society tells us it is. That is not the case. And nothing corrupts faster than compromising your values because you're chasing somebody else's approval. The only approval that we as Christians should be chasing is God. And if you are new to the faith, that is the big thing that I don't want to see happen. I feel like if you're going to respect an organization, if you're going to respect the belief system, if you are going to respect faith, it requires steadfast adherence to what your principles are. And if your principles are these are the rules and these are the expectations, you can't go backwards and say, well, that seems kind of mean. And a lot of people don't feel really comfortable with that. And the other folks on in in the in the societal um, sphere think this is stupid, and we just aren't getting people to come to church. So we need to change our message around and change some things that Jesus says that we shouldn't do, because it's more important that we get people in the seats. It's more important that we save people. You're not saving people if you're telling them that the things that go on that are wrong aren't. You're going to see me get on that soapbox from time to time. Now, that said, um, we're gonna we're gonna do a very quick reading tonight. I thought we had 28 chapters in Leviticus, and that was my ignorant mind talking because I didn't go look ahead. And I thought that when I drew out the roadmap, I thought that the last episode was going to be 2 chapters of Leviticus. And if I'd have thought it out, I probably would have finished it yesterday. But we're at the end of the week, and maybe we'll be at the end of this book. So, with no further ado, let's bring up Leviticus. This is going to be redeeming what is the Lord. This is going to be mostly just tying up some historical determinations, but Maybe we'll find something in here. You always find something in the Bible. The Old Testament leads you to the New Testament, and the New Testament is a fulfillment of the Old Testament. Chapter 27, redeeming what is the Lord's. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, if anyone makes a special vow to dedicate a person to the Lord by giving the equivalent value, set the value of a male between the ages of 25 and 60 at 50 shekels of silver, according to the sanctuary shekel. For a female, set her value at 30 shekels. For a person between that's 60%. But I thought, never mind. I'm not going to go into that joke. Some people don't find it funny, but again, it's uh it's the Bible. It's the Bible thumbing its nose at feminists that it knows what will read it in thousands of years and think that it's an affront. But here's the thing: we're talking about shekels of silver. What is shekels of silver? It's money. And what is money? A worldly thing. Do you think that matters that much to God? He's talking about in the marketplace. And in the marketplace, this is what sells. This is what humans have determined. So we're going to do what the marketplace considers to be fair. For a person between the ages of 5 and 20, set the value of a male at 20 shekels and a value of a female at 10 shekels. For a person between 1 month and 5 years, set the value of a male at 5 shekels of silver and that of a female at 3 shekels of silver. For a person 60 years or old or more, set the value of a male at 15 shekels and of a female at 10 shekels. If anyone making the vow is too poor to pay the specified amount, the person being dedicated is to be presented to the priest, who will set the value according to what the one making the vow can afford. Um, I guess this is. I really don't understand what this is about, and then we're gonna have to come back and visit this because I'm not sure about what this whole dedication thing is about. If what they vowed is an animal that is acceptable as an offering to the Lord, I think this is talking about donating things to be blessed, maybe because they're paying. Normally, if you give something to God, you would not pay to give it to God. You would give it to God and maybe receive some recompense back. Don't know what this is all about. If what they vowed is an animal that is acceptable as an offering to them, this has got to be a cultural thing that I'm missing. Such an animal given to the Lord becomes holy. They must not exchange it or substitute a good one for a bad one, or a bad one for a good one. If they should substitute one animal for another, both it and the substitute become holy. If what they vowed is a ceremonially unclean animal, one that is not acceptable as an offering to the Lord, the animal must be presented to the priest, who will judge its quality as good or bad. Whatever value the priest then sets, that is what it will be. If the owner wishes to redeem the animal, a fifth must be added to its value. If anyone dedicates their house as something holy to the Lord, the priest will judge its quality as good or bad. Whatever its value, the priest then sets, so it will remain. If the one who dedicates their house wishes to redeem it, they must add a fifth to its value, and the house will again become theirs. Okay, so this is buying back. So think this is dedication in some way. This is a difficult one to read. So of course I picked the end of the week to put it here. But it is what it is. If anyone dedicates to the Lord part of their family land, it is to be it is the its value is to be set according to the amount of seed required for it. 50 of shekels of silver to a homer of barley seed. I'm sorry. 50 shekels of silver to a homer of barley seed. If they dedicate a field during the year of Jubilee, the value that has been set remains. But if they dedicate a field after Jubilee, the priest will determine the value according to the number of years that remain until the next year of Jubilee, and its set value will be reduced, as you see with the prorating. If the one who dedicates the value field wishes to redeem it, they must add a fifth to its value, and the field will again become theirs. If, however, they do not redeem the field, or if they have sold it to someone else, it can never be redeemed. When the field is released in the Jubilee, it will become holy, like a field devoted to the Lord, and it will become priestly property. If anyone dedicates to the Lord a field they have bought, which is not part of their family land, the priest will determine its value up to the year of Jubilee, and the owner must pay its value on that day as something holy to the Lord. In the year of Jubilee, the field will revert to the person from whom it was bought, and the one whose land it was. Every value is to be set according to the sanctuary shekel, 20 gerahs to the shekel. No one, however, may dedicate the firstborn of an animal, since the firstborn already belongs to the Lord. Whether an ox or a sheep, it is the Lord's. If it is one of the unclean animals, it may be bought back at its set value, adding a fifth of the value to it. If it is not redeemed, it is to be sold at its set value. But nothing that a person owns and devotes to the Lord, whether a human being or an animal or family land, may be sold or redeemed. Everything so devoted is most holy to the Lord. No person devoted to destruction may be ransomed. They are to be put to death. No person devoted to destruction. What is that about? I'll read this down here. The Hebrew term refers to the irrevocable giving over of things or persons to the land, also by totally destroying them. They are to be put to death. A tithe of everything from the land, whether grain from the soil or fruit from the trees, belongs to the Lord. It is holy to the Lord. Whoever would redeem any of their tithe must add a fifth of the value to it. Every tithe of the herd of flock, every tenth animal that passes under the shepherd's rod, it will be holy to the Lord. No one may pick out the good from the bad or make any substitution. If anyone does make a substitution, both the animal and its substitute become holy and cannot be redeemed. These are the commands the Lord gives Moses at Mount Sinai, not Sinai, for the Israelites. So there we have it. That is the end of Leviticus. We do have some questions. I would love to backtrack and talk to Eric about that somewhat, and possibly get Billy Dyer working on this a little bit as well. But both of them may not, and maybe I'll have to employ the talents of another scholarly person to come in and kind of give us an explanation of what's being discussed here and what's being discussed in some of the previous chapters that seem kind of confusing. Confusing. So, because what we're talking about here, a lot of the stuff is defunct in many ways. Like I said, the sin offerings and stuff like that. Many of the food laws, many Christians view as defunct and not applicable anymore, because they're mostly revolving around the the welfare of the health of the community, and the offerings were made defunct by Christ's sacrifice on the cross. So, with that said, everybody, like I said, tune in next week. Next week's going to be big. Next week's going to be awesome. You're going to see me doing some promos for it, and I'm very excited for what we're going to have going on. In the meantime, folks, please be safe and be good. Good night. God bless.